Hey guys, it is time for part 2 of my May reviews, and this time we're doing graphic novels. Let's ignore the fact that I read all of these during Bout of Books, therefore they're already in my Bout of Books wrap-up, but I guess we can talk about them again. So the first graphic novel that I read this month was Batman's Harley and Ivy by Paul Dini. This bind-up is really interesting because the last half of this is one arc, all of the comics go together. But then the first story in here is supposed to be after that, and then there's a special painted comic in the middle by Judd Winnick. It is in the style of a painting, and it's just really pretty. Then the rest of the bind-up is in this style, which is very cartoony. Weird to me since the material in here does not fit the style of art. So the story arc is that the Joker kicks Harley out again, and she goes to Ivy and is like, hey, I want to get back with the Joker, so I gotta do something like pretty cool. I gotta do some crime. Do you want to do some crime? BT dubs, it's about plants. And so Ivy's like, yeah, I like you, you're cool, and I like me some plants. So they go and they try to steal this endangered plant, and that's basically what the entire last half of this is. And I love Harley and Ivy, so obviously I did like this. I like seeing them working together. I like their dynamic. There was even a hint of Ivy having a crush on Harley, which you know just makes my heart weak. This was okay, but there was a lot of things that I was not okay with. I didn't find the plot that entertaining, and I definitely did not need all the sexism. For example, this is not okay to me. Like, she's getting beat up in her underwear and her bra's falling off. You can tell that this is written by some dudes. I just think that both Harley and Ivy deserve more than this. So I think I gave it 2.5 stars or 3 stars, somewhere in there. And then I read Chopsticks by Jessica Anthony and Rodrigo Corral. And let me tell you, you already know this, but that book blew my mind. It is a book entirely told in pictures. There are, some words like some notes and some instant messaging, but it is mostly these beautiful pictures. I don't want to give away too much, but I will tell you it is about a piano prodigy and her life with her dad, who's a little overbearing, and her personal life. I think I said this before, but I reread it immediately after I finished it because it was that good. It demanded another reread immediately. There are so many different ways to interpret this book because it's told in pictures. Pictures worth 1,000 words, but what words exactly? It's just so good, and it is just a storyteller's dream and a reader's dream, and I recommend this. 5 out of 5 stars, great. And then I read the New 52's Batwoman, Volume 1, Hydrology. This is by J.H. Williams, who is a dude, by the way, but this does not read like a dude writing, a female superhero book. There's no unneeded nudity, some quality comic book literature right here. It follows Kate Kane, who, like some of our other bats, have some family revenge to do. Because her sister and her mother died, and so she became Batwoman, and Bruce is all like, yeah, you go girl, join up with me, we can be angsty together. But Kate isn't Bruce. For one, her love life is actually going pretty good. Her girlfriend is a police officer who is trying to solve the disappearance of some kids, and so Kate decides to take this on too. As Batwoman, she comes across this myth of this mother who drowned her children and then killed herself, and she's coming back as a ghost taking these kids away. And she soon discovers that that isn't just a myth. So you have these really pretty, ghostly, water pages, but then you also have the really cool red and black thing going on, because Kate's hair, both in Batwoman form and just her regular street clothes, she has red hair. So we get these, really cool, contrasting pages. Really good. I love Kate. I love Batwoman. I loved a lot of things in here, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, or a 4.5 stars now that I'm thinking about it. And then I read Persepolis Volume 1, The Story of a Childhood by Marjane Stroppi, and then I also read Persepolis Volume 2, The Story of a Return, also by Marjane Satrapi. And I just really don't know what to say about these graphic novels, because they were unlike anything I have ever read before. It is told in the form of a graphic novel, but it's also a memoir and kind of a little bit of history thrown in. I've never read anything with this setting, which was Iran during the 70s when they were having a war, and I honestly didn't even know about this war because the American public education system sucks and we weren't taught this. You also have Marjane's entire story because it is her memoirs, and I actually really related to her because she went off to college, she left Iran, and she couldn't do it. The pressure was too much, she was too homesick, and just things kept getting in the way of her education, and she had to drop out, and she was homeless for a little bit, and then she went back home. Overall, it was just really interesting and heartwarming and heartbreaking, and it was funny at times, and I would definitely recommend these books. I think I gave them both 4 out of 5 stars. And then I read Scott Pilgrim vs. the Infinite Sadness by Brian Lee O'Malley. So you might remember that I did an entire video about Edgar Wright's filmography, which includes Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and I touched on a little bit of why Scott Pilgrim is problematic. And that is the same in this 3rd volume of Scott Pilgrim. There's some racism, and there's Scott's general view of women. Those are just things that I've had to come to expect from this series, and so I've kind of been able to tune it out a little, which is never good, but I did like this. I love the way these books are set up. I love the cuts to the flashbacks, which I just realized you can tell when it's a flashback when the background is black. I didn't realize that until the 3rd volume. I like how each character every so often has a little identifying bar there, and I have to admit that the vegan police is probably my favorite joke from the movie, and that was in this volume. So I gave this 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and I probably want to recommend that you watch the movie before you read the graphic novel series, which I know is just like blasphemy. I would say watch the movie, see if you can deal with the racism and sexism and general isms, and then read the graphic novel series. And then I read Hawkeye, My Life as a Weapon by Matt Fraction, and you guys know my thoughts about this. And I'm lending it out to a friend right now because I've given it to all my friends and I've been like, read this right now. So I can't show it to you, but I will try to insert some of the artwork because it's just a really aesthetically pleasing graphic novel. It's not as gritty and dark as some comic books are that deals with, you know, superheroes and killing people and blood and guts. Everything's purple and muted and nice. So the art style is one of the reasons I love this book, but then I also love it because of the characters. I never thought I liked Clint Barton before, but I freaking adore him. He's just a giant dork. Like, he's always like, Clint Barton, you dummy, like to himself. And every volume opens with him going, okay, this looks bad. Like him like being thrown out of a window. And then we have Kate Bishop, who is just the best, and Clint thinks that too. They're not romantically involved, but he adores her. He thinks she is the best archer in the world. She's a little spoiled and young for him, but I just love their friendship. Like, literally everything about this comic is amazing. Like, I don't even know what you want me to say. I mean, Clint saves a dog. If you like Marvel's Cinematic Universe and you like the Avengers but haven't gotten into the comics yet, I would highly recommend you start with Hawkeye, just because it is so big right now. It is so good. The humor is just like the movies. There isn't really anything that you need to know beforehand. In the bind-up that I have, there is a comic in the back that's kind of like a flashback. It's about how Katie and Clint meet. Read this if you're into superheroes. No matter if you've read a comic or not, You're gonna love it. So that's all the graphic novels that I read in May. If you guys ever want me to do a full review on any of these graphic novels or any of the books in my part 1 reviews, I will gladly do that for you. Just leave a comment down below or tweet me, and all of those links are down in the doobly-doo, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Bye! Like, hey, what's the matter, bro? Bro, what's your deal, bro? Bro, are you just broing out, bro?